Hello, candle lovers. Happy Sunday and welcome to the WWW, the weekly wax wrap up. These are all candles that I have finished burning through this week. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of each and every one. So let's just get right into it. Some of you might have seen that I reviewed Sugared Lemon and Spice by Bath & Body Works this week. I really liked this candle. The scent notes on here are lemon zest, fresh cardamom, and sugared ginger. This had thick, ropey wicks on it, and I burned it all the way down to the bottom. I would say that strength and throw on this was really good. In a more medium space, like my bedroom, it was an 8 for strength. In a more open area, it still got up to like a 7.5. I would say that the throw on this candle though was really impressive, and I'd say throw was like a 9. I mean, this scent really traveled throughout my place. Like if it was in the living room, I could smell it in my bedroom and in the bathroom. The throw was really good on this candle. It did burn very hot and viciously, like right from the first burn all the way until the end. They were very powerful hot burns. The jar got extremely hot. I had to keep this to a 2-hour maximum, and I would suggest that you do too, because I did catch it sooting once in a while after it had been burning for a longer time. Oh, but this is just a beautiful fragrance, and this is an unexpected one for me. I'm not usually a fan of lemony fragrances or majorly sort of kitchen spice blend fragrances, but something about this one just worked for me. In my review, I believe I described the fragrance as a candied ginger rolled in cardamom and kitchen spice and sugar with a squeeze of lemon on top of it. And it's a really nice textured, like 3-dimensional fragrance. On the top, you've got a really bright lemon zest. It's very comparable to sugared lemon zest from the White Barn core line. And then the mid-range are all those spices with the cardamom sort of leading the charge, as well as a blend of like pretty typical kitchen spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, etc. And then the base of this is like a really sharp but also smooth ginger, and it comes across as a little caramelized. I really think that they could have put this candle out as a gourmand. There isn't like a doughy or a starchy bakery sort of element to it, but there is something about it that smells very much like a baked sort of lemon dessert bar. And I really enjoyed this one, and it performed great too. I'm definitely going to be picking up 1 or 2 more of these, and I would recommend it. If this is the kind of fragrance that is up your alley and you're okay with having to keep a close eye on candles that are burning hot and vicious, limiting your burns to 2 hours, I'd absolutely recommend this one. It performed quite nicely overall. Next up, I finished up a Among the Clouds. This came out in like spring last year, I believe, and it was okay. I mostly bought it because I almost always buy their sort of single fragrance launch body care candles, just because I want to like snoop around and see what they're like and what's going on with them. I thought this was some really pretty packaging with that cute pink lid. It also had pink wax and thick ropey wicks. This candle burned okay. I seem to remember it getting a little bit duddy around the halfway point, but it wasn't really bad. The scent notes on this one are wildberry skies and whipped vanilla clouds. And yeah, that's pretty much what you get from this. An airy, smooth, vanilla, nondescript red berry situation. And I bought this last year, but just never got around to burning it, so I did it this year. And I burned it in tandem with a single wick Among the Clouds. This just had regular colored wax and it performed really well all the way down to the bottom also. And I would burn these together. I'd have this one in my living room, this one in my bedroom. This was always in a hurricane in there. So in a hurricane in a medium to large space, this was giving me probably about a 5.5. It was a nice, it was a nice sort of gentle, soft fragrance. And I'd say that the 3-wick got up to 6, maybe a 6.5. There was definitely a presence there, but nothing that was like knocking my socks off, you know what I mean? It was lovely, but, total one and done for me. I don't expect for this candle to come back. I don't think it was a huge success. Like, this came out in the body care and everything. And I just remember, like, the semi-annual sale, like, seeing Among the Clouds everywhere. Like, they're liquidating this off. So I don't think it was a roaring success and that we'll see it back, which is okay because I really don't think I'd recommend it. There are other candles in this vein that I think are a lot better. But it was nice. It was nice. I actually enjoyed it. I also finished off Orange Cream Sherbet from Goose Creek. I bought quite a few of the candles in this collection and really liked them. Goose Creek does a pretty bad job at the seams on their wraparounds here. There's always like a massively uneven discrepancy in their wraparound seams. The scent notes on this are juicy orange, soft peach, sugar, and creamy vanilla. And yeah, I mean, Goose Creek does a really decent job of making these candles smell exactly the way that you expect for them to smell. This absolutely smells like one of those creamsicle ice cream bars where it's like the orange on the outside and the vanilla ice cream on the inside. And this was a pretty strong candle and it performed decently. I'd say that the strength and throw on this was a 7. It absolutely had a presence about it. However, I'd say the last third of the candle did get a little bit discolored and a little bit sooty, and it corrupted the fragrance quite quickly once that started to happen. The last third of the candle definitely smelled a bit off, and so it became an outdoors burn for me because I was also a little scared of the sooting that it was doing. But I really enjoyed burning the first 2/3 of it inside. It was nice, it was pleasant, not a repurchase for me. And just because of the way the last third of it performed, I wouldn't really recommend it either. Unless you wanted to just, unless you wanted to just put it under a heat lamp or in a candle crock for the last third to the last half of it, which is probably what I should have done. But by that point, the smell was already a little bit odd. So I just kind of burned it outside when I was having some cocktails with my friends one day. Next up, I finished off Midnight Oasis from Goose Creek. I really liked this one. I really liked a lot of the candles in this collection, particularly Summer Moon. And I'd say that Midnight Oasis was my second favorite in this lineup after Summer Moon. The scent notes on here are fresh lavender, cool waters, cedar, desert rose, and sandalwood. Yeah, it's quite a floral. The lavender note in this is fairly pronounced as a top note, and it is just a touch soapier than I would have liked for it to be. But the candle is rounded out with a really nice sandalwood and a rose fragrance in the bottom. And that sandalwood note is kind of like the base of this. And there's a bit of cedar in there as well. And I think I enjoyed smelling this one more when it was burning than it did on cold. I think that this opened up quite a bit more when it was burning. On cold, I'm mostly just getting that top lavender note. But when it was burning, it came across as a lot more balanced. This performed pretty well. I burned it all the way down until it extinguished itself. You really have to stay on top of most Goose Creek candles and keep them to a 2-hour burn and trim the wicks really well, which is what I did with this one. And it was a fairly nice, clean, even burn. I was able to actually burn it until it extinguished itself inside, and it did pretty well. I would say strength and throw on this was was a very solid 7.5 in a more open area. I don't think this one ever even got sort of put into a bathroom or my bedroom. So in a more open area, it was a solid 7.5. Yeah, I like this one quite a bit. I don't think I would repurchase it. It was just a little bit too run-of-the-mill for me. There wasn't anything particularly special, or like, it just didn't, the fragrance itself just didn't really grab my attention that much, but it was really nice and lovely. And I would recommend it, as long as these are all sort of scent notes that you can get behind and you don't mind a sort of top lavender note that leans a bit soapy sometimes. What else? I have Gardenia Petals, also from Goose Creek. I am just in a rush right now to finish burning through some summer candles. I burn summer right up until September, and if the weather is nice here in Calgary, which it often is still in September, I will sometimes keep burning summer until like the first or second week of September, and I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing this year because I've got so many summer candles that I still need to get through. I really liked Gardenia Petals. I have started burning some fall stuff. Like, I'm slowly integrating a fall candle here and there, like the sugared lemon and spice. I already did a mixed berry crumble. You can see my reviews for those. I'll link to them below. Anyways, I'm getting way off track. Gardenia Petals was really, really lovely. The scent notes on this are dense lemon cake, gooey oh my gosh, this is the one that if you guys saw me haul this candle initially, you know that somebody at Goose Creek really screwed up. And put the wrong scent notes here because it says Gardenia Petals, but then the scent notes are dense lemon cake, gooey caramel, brown sugar, and whipped vanilla cream. Let me look the scent notes up real quick for us. Okay, so the real scent notes on Gardenia Petals are Gardenia Petals, green leaves, and neroli. Now this was a really lovely fragrance, but to me, what this was a bit of a more toned down version of their sea salt neroli and vanilla candle, which I was in love with. I did a big review about Goose Creek's sea salt neroli and vanilla candle a while back. I backed that one up, and I have actually talked a little bit before about how a lot of the Goose Creek collections, I think that they all kind of have too many candles in them, because a lot of the candles within a Goose Creek collection will be very similar to one another. And in this collection, there was also sea salt neroli and vanilla, and it is just extremely similar to this. This one though just has a little bit more of a white floral in it, but it was also quite a bit softer and not as strong as the sea salt neroli and vanilla. I'd say that the strength and throw on this one was only a 6 or a 6.5. And that is quite weak for a Goose Creek candle. And it really did just kind of feel like they took the sea salt neroli and vanilla candle and tweaked it just a bit. In the other candle, you don't get like a white floral note at all. In this one, the top note is like a white floral, the middle note is the neroli, and the base is kind of like a creamy, musky scent. And there's also a fair bit of like lush, leafy, botanical as well in this one. And so this is not a repurchase for me, and it's not a recommendation to you, because I think that the sea salt neroli and vanilla candle was much better than this and much stronger, and it burned cleaner. I did burn this one all the way down till the bottom, and it burned cleanly for the most part. But it got extremely hot, and I did catch it sooting once or twice. And you know, I mean, the Goose Creek candles just, you never really know what you're gonna get in terms of how clean the burn is gonna be. and this just wasn't one of the best ones. The fragrance seemed like it was a little bit corrupt from like the last half of the candle onward. And so this also got burned outside quite a bit. And it was actually a really lovely like outside burn. I remember I was reading a book outside for a couple hours this week one night. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. I just kind of spent the day outside by myself reading and had this one going out there. And I actually quite enjoyed it that way. But overall, not super impressive. Just not super impressive. And last but not least, I finished up Bayside Cedar from Yankee. I will link to my full-length review of this one below if you're interested. The wicks did travel quite a bit, which is something I noticed happens often with these large jars from Yankee, but I did burn it all the way until I could see the wick nickels, and I feel like all of the fragrance oils had been released. This candle was a bit confusing to me, and ultimately I didn't love it. The scent notes were top notes of grapefruit, bergamot, and green pear. That's where it lost me a little bit. The mid notes are mandarin blossom and water lily, and the base notes are amber, cedarwood, and musk. And so this candle kind of felt like a bit of an identity crisis to me. I don't know where you are in the Bayside with grapefruits, mandarin blossoms, and pear. And so the top notes in this candle were fairly pronounced, and they were fairly like citrusy. And I didn't love the way that it mixed with the other components of the candle. Because on the base, you are getting a really nice like cedar wood. It's almost a little camphorous. It's musky, and there's a little touch of like an amber in there. Not a really dark amber, but like a bit of a lighter amber note. And I really like the base of this candle, but that top impression of it is kind of citrusy and weird to me. And so ultimately, this is, just a pass for me. Not a repurchase or a recommendation either, because Strength and Throw was not great. I think I got it up to a 5.5 in like a more medium space in a Hurricane, but for the most part, it was pretty lost. And honestly, it had some presence to it. So honestly, I wouldn't want it to have been that much more strong, because I just didn't enjoy the scent that much. Yeah. But I kept trying to figure it out. And so I burned this whole sucker inside all the way down, kind of hoping that it would click with me, but it just never really did. Not terrible by any means, I don't think a great concept or a great execution on Yankee's part. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. All of the candles I finished burning this week. What's everyone up to tonight? Today I kind of did my regular Sunday routine, which is the gym, and then I met a friend for brunch, ran some errands, and then I just kind of come home and try to keep the rest of the day to myself or have the boyfriend over. I'm gonna catch up on Big Brother and Real Housewives of OC tonight. Is anyone watching Big Brother? Lisa Smith out there, I know that you are. Angela is a psychopath, and I am here for it. Oh my goodness. She might be one of the worst players in Big Brother history, and that is turning out to be what her strength in the game is. She's just so crazy and bizarre that she's like doing the opposite of flying under the radar. She's like getting passed by being so nuts that people don't think there's any way that she could possibly win. She is just insane, and I am here for it. I like watching Big Brother, although to be honest with you, I usually wait until I have like 4 or 5 episodes of it recorded so that I can fast forward all the parts that I don't care about. Like a lot of the challenges, I don't need to be watching those for 20 minutes. I don't need to be watching them build towers out of rings and like swim through piranhas to press buttons. I usually fast forward the challenges. I just like watching the parts where they're all sitting around talking trash and like the veto ceremonies and stuff like that. And I feel like I get through about 3 episodes in like 45 minutes, but I'm all caught up for it now, and I am here for this cast. I mean, there are some real nut jobs on here, and I love it. I actually auditioned for Big Brother Canada a long time ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, and I actually got pretty far in the process, I think. Like, I went back 3 times and got to the point where I was having a one-on-one with a producer named Trevor Boris, who's been kind of like a Canadian producer, sort of minor celeb for a while. He used to be on like Much Music or Much More Music, and now he's a producer. But anyways, I got to a point where I was having like a one-on-one interview with Trevor Boris, and then they never called me. And now I'm way too old and crotchety to try to do it again. Even if they do bring back the Canadian version, I feel like that ship has sailed for me. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna be back with another video for you tomorrow, so you'll have to stay tuned to find out what it is. And so until next time, my dear candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, folks. Bye now.